My daughter banned me from her wedding. So I secretly canceled the whole thing I paid for. Hey, Reddit. I'm Karen, 55F, and this is one of the hardest stories I've ever had to tell. I never thought I'd be in a situation where I felt betrayed by my own daughter, Amanda, 27F. I raised her mostly on my own after her father passed when she was young. She was the light of my life, and I did everything to give her the best future I could. But now, I'm questioning if all those years of sacrifice meant anything. Let me start from the beginning. Amanda met Nick, 30M, around 3 years ago, and at first, I was over the moon for her. Nick was polite, seemed responsible, and made her laugh, a rare sight, as Amanda could be a bit shy and serious. But over time, I noticed something strange. Amanda's independent personality seemed to change around Nick, and she started making decisions based on his family's input, especially his mom, Barbara. Amanda was a daddy's girl before he passed, and I thought maybe Nick filled that role in some way. But then Barbara seemed to step in as a replacement mom too, which I tried to tolerate, hoping it was just a phase. But as the wedding plans began, Barbara started making more decisions than I did. Amanda would shrug it off when I brought it up, saying things like, "Oh, Barbara has such good taste," or "She's so experienced in these things." I'd offered to cover the wedding because I wanted it to be a day Amanda would always cherish. I'd saved for years and genuinely wanted to make it as special as possible. For the first few months, Amanda and I had a great time picking out her dream dress, tasting cakes, even choosing the venue together. I thought this was our bonding time, but bit by bit, Barbara started taking over. One day, I suggested a centerpiece idea that I thought would suit Amanda's personality, but she hesitated. "Barbara thinks simple is better," she said, almost embarrassed. I laughed it off, but I was hurt. Little by little, the wedding I envisioned Amanda and I planning together became a wedding for Amanda and Barbara, with me as the financier. Then, 2 months before the wedding, Amanda called me with a strange tone in her voice. "Mom," she said, "please don't be upset, but I think it's best if you don't come to the wedding." I thought I misheard. She went on to explain that I'd been too controlling and that she wanted a drama-free day. "Mom, this is about Nick and me starting our own life," she said, almost as if I was some outsider. She even offered that we could celebrate together another time. I was crushed. To be told I was unwelcome at my own daughter's wedding after spending thousands of dollars to make it happen felt like a slap in the face. I told her I loved her and that I'd always be there for her, but if she didn't want me at her wedding, then she couldn't expect me to pay for it either. That night, I couldn't sleep. I wrestled with my decision. But by morning, I knew what I had to do. I spent hours going through every invoice, contract, and email I had with vendors. I called each of them and explained that I was canceling the wedding arrangements. Some were understanding and sympathetic, and I managed to recover a substantial amount of the money I had paid. I finally sent Amanda an email. I explained that while I respected her wishes, I also couldn't support a wedding that I wasn't welcome to attend. I told her that I'd be here if she ever needed me, but that I had to draw a line. Her reaction? Explosive. She called me, furious, saying I'd ruined her life and embarrassed her in front of Nick's family. Barbara even got on the phone, trying to convince me to reinstate everything, saying, "Karen, you're being petty." But I held my ground. I told them both, I love Amanda, but I'm not just a wallet. I'm her mother, and I deserve respect. Amanda ended up having a small, last-minute wedding in Barbara's backyard. I wasn't invited. I saw some photos online, and it was clear they'd had to make serious cutbacks. There were no floral arrangements, no catered dinner, just some basic decor and a few friends. A week later, Amanda called me out of the blue, sounding cold and distant. "Mom, I'm pregnant," she said bluntly. I was stunned but congratulated her, trying to sound positive. But then she added, "I thought you'd be a part of this, but I don't know if I can trust you after what you did." I was hurt all over again. Now she was using her pregnancy to hurt me further, accusing me of abandoning her in her time of need. She claimed that my actions were selfish and that I'd need to earn her trust back to be involved in her child's life. I tried to explain my side, but she hung up on me, leaving me feeling more betrayed than ever. The real twist, though, came a few days later. I got an anonymous text message: "Karen, you don't know the whole story. Call me." Against my better judgment, I called the number, and it was Barbara. She confessed that Amanda and Nick were in serious financial trouble. They'd been relying on the cash gifts from the wedding to pay down their debts. The whole scheme with Barbara's help was to ensure I covered the costs so they could pocket the gifts without anyone questioning it. I was floored. My own daughter had been planning to manipulate me to cover her and Nick's financial mess. She'd excluded me, lied to me, and now, after all that, was still expecting me to help them financially. I spent the next few weeks avoiding calls from Amanda. When she finally did reach me, she asked if I could loan them money for the baby. I told her that I loved her, but this was a boundary I wouldn't cross. I reminded her of everything that had happened and told her that if she wanted a relationship, she'd have to rebuild the trust she'd broken. She cried and accused me of being unsupportive, but I stood firm. Since then, Amanda's cut contact again, and I'm left wondering if I'll ever truly have a place in her life again. I've realized that family ties don't guarantee trust or loyalty. We've become strangers, and the pain of that might be even greater than the betrayal. But I know I did what was right for my own dignity.